So, I guess with all of that, I know you did memory care, but how did you end up moving into the life sciences world, the biofacturas, and how did you get to that point?
So what the memory care taught me was that physicians are smart and they can make a good living in their practice. But when it comes time to doing something outside of their practice, to taking a new idea and bringing it to market, they are not quite as brilliant. We're not wired that way. We're wired to take care of people. And there's a meshing of different cultures of science and business that has to occur when you are taking your idea for healthcare to the market. So at that point, my two friends of mine and I started this organization called the Society of Physician Entrepreneurs, SOAP, a non for
Gotcha.
profit organization that's meant as a network of people, of like minded people, entrepreneurs mostly, who want to learn what are the opportunities and what are the obstacles in bringing my idea from my head or from my napkin to a patient.
Right. That's
So we
awesome.
started teaching this to the American Academy of Otolaryngology, ear, nose, and throat doctors. And all of a sudden, we had like 300 people come to a 7 o'clock breakfast. And we
Hmm.
said, gee, this is something that
Oh
people want to
no.
learn about. So after a while, we took it from within the ENT community and took it to the worldwide community. And now we have 38,000 LinkedIn members across the globe.
Wow.
And we have communities of interest and chapters all over US and some European and now going to Australia and Asia of like-minded people, and these are not all docs. This is anyone in healthcare, so it's doctors, nurses, dentists, physical therapists, and the surrounding personnel, which are scientists, PhDs, postdocs, chemical engineers, uh, electrical engineers, IT people, lawyers, investors. They're all part of this ecosystem because it does take a village to bring any new idea to market. And
Absolutely.
that's what we try to convey and teach and understand what are the needs of our constituents and how do we give them the information and the tools to be successful.
So I want to talk a little bit about, Capitol Biologics and, what the vision is with that. I've gotten some information that, Alex passed along with me, but I really want to know, as things maybe starting, you're reshaping what BFI or Biofactura is doing, sorry, Biofactura is doing. What are you doing now to take all of that experience that you've had at Biofactura to transition that into Capitol Biologics?
So about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, BioFactura was awarded a contract with BARDA, part of HHS, to do the research, development, and manufacture a monoclonal antibody cocktail that was going to be used as a medical countermeasure against a possible bioterrorist threat from smallpox.
Gotcha.
Smallpox has been eradicated as a naturally occurring virus, but there are stockpiles of the smallpox virus that we know of here in the CDC, also in Russia, and maybe in other countries that may not be as friendly to us as we would like.
Right.
So it's always a question as to whether or not those bad actors may use smallpox virus as a bioterrorist threat against us or as an actual weapon against us, which would be devastating because most of the population is not vaccinated against smallpox. So it would have greater than a 30% mortality if that was released.
Wow.
So we were working on the next generation of therapeutics to be able to have in our stockpile should that problem arise. But unfortunately, the funding was suspended back in April, and we're trying to get the funding back on track with this administration and doing what we can to show them how important it is and how we can be very competitive price-wise with the other molecules that they have, which aren't as effective as ours. And in the meantime, we're saying, okay, we've built this fantastic machine. We have, 45 really smart scientists and technicians that can take a gene sequence on paper and take that and do cell line development and do upstream and downstream process development. In other words, the processes where you grow the cells and produce the drug, and the processes where you take that supernatant and filter out the impurities so you get the pure drug at the end, and then have all of the quality and quality control that is the overarching design to say, here's how you're going to do it, here's how we make sure that it's going to be safe and effective for patients to use, and then have the ability to do GMP manufacturing of the clinical material to be used in clinical trials. We had that as we were going through the smallpox therapeutic R&D journey and manufacturing journey. So we said, okay, we have this. We've made this great, platform. Now, if we're suspended from using it for our own internal project, we'll let others come in and we'll be a CDMO, a contract development and manufacturing organization, to allow other biotechs to utilize our technology in bringing their babies from the initial stages through a IND submission for a clinical trial.
Yeah, from idea all the way to commercialization.